Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. And this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Abbott Elementary Season 2, Episode 13, Fundraiser. And we are sipping on vodka and store brand lemonade. Yes. How you all doing? This episode was interesting. You know I didn't want Janine to get with that nigga, but apparently they want to create a story arc out of this, and I don't know. We haven't seen enough of him to say that there's something wrong with him, but just from the little bit I've seen so far, I just feel a type of way. But let's get into this. Let's start with the other characters. So they're having a fundraiser at the school, and Barbara is leading this team. She wants the children to be honest and loyal and trustworthy and salespeople and whatever. And then Ava hops on and wants to help out because her team that she's leading sold a bunch. And so Ava is teaching them to be, sneak thieves, and not sneak thieves, but, hustlers. Like, get the money by any means necessary type folks. Which isn't necessarily anything wrong with that. But because children are so impressionable, we just don't want to see them take that into other areas of their lives where they could, go to jail or anything like that. So, but let's leave it to just this episode because, she comes from a good place. The goal of Ava was coming from a good place. So, anyways, Ava basically tells the kids to up the prices of the chocolate and to, play on people's dispositions and stuff, like white folks, white liberals, and you got to play on being and you know what? I don't even think it's anything that would get them in trouble. It's the truth. Like, you got to play. When you're a salesperson, these are things that you have to do in real life as a salesperson. You have to play off of what you see in people's personalities. And you have to, sometimes you have to be, with the price and in order to make money. And so it's not good. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but that's what salespeople do anyway. So, I see where Barbara's coming from. She wants the children to be truthful and honest and godly but we don't live in that type of world where that's going to accomplish what you're wanting them to accomplish in this particular area. I don't know, but it's not for you to play with. That's not for you to play with. And so, Barbara gets embarrassed because one of the church ladies that she had blackmailed, it's also on the district board, was at the mall where the kids was selling shit and came up to her talking about, the chocolate was $2, and Barbara's like, no, it's $1, and had to call the little boy over and was like, oh, well, give her change, and then got mad at Ava. And I'm just like, but Ava was right, though, because Ava came and she talked to her. And that's what I'll be talking about Ava. She cares about the children. It's just, you got to pull it out of her. And that little boy's sob story, when he came into her office in the beginning of the show and was talking about he outgrew his pants and he don't know if he's going to be able to get some more pants by the end of the year and stuff like that. I know you saw me put my hand in my pocket. And so... I'm sorry. So she was just like, you got to pull it out of Ava. But it's there. The empathy, the care is there. She just be in survival mode all the time. So, the empathy and care has to be tapped first. But she was thinking about them little kids and how they were suffering and going through things financially. And so she thought of a way to help get them some money while also making the school money. She was making them charge $2 so they could keep the extra $1. And so, she tells Barbara this. She's like, I grew up in the hood. You may have been a teacher for such and such amount of years, but I grew up poor. And I see myself in these children. So it triggered her past traumas of what she's experienced and stuff. So like I said, no wonder she's in survival mode. You know, we probably got hood trauma, poverty trauma, caregiver trauma, because she's taking care of, what is it, her mom or her, it's one scene in the first season, and I don't remember if it was her mom or her grandmother that had escaped from the place that they have her at. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But she got caregiver trauma. She got all sorts of shit going on. So yeah, she always trying to find the next hustle, the next way to make money. I just don't understand. I think I'm starting to kind of understand it though. It's like when you hustling and you trying to find the next way to make money, you also living for the day. Like, I need money today. You're not necessarily thinking about how I can build something up to stack for later. So you're not thinking about using the rich people around you that you know to be able to like set you up in a position to where you can make a bunch of money on a consistent basis. You're not, because that would involve you to stop and think towards the future. Like, how can this right now impact my future? And she's not thinking like that. She's thinking for the day, every day. And that's the thing, like with mindfulness, it asks you to be present in your present environment and live for the now, but it's not asking you to only live for the now. Like, you still want to have a nice balance of your past informing your present, and also, you know, how does your present inform your future and the plans that you want to have for yourself. It's just, you don't want to lean too much into the future or lean too much into the past, because you're going to miss out on what's going on right here and now. And so, but she leans too much into the present and into the past, to where her past informs her present too much, and she's always in survival mode. And so, you know, that's the way she thinks. And so she sees that in them kids, because that was her own experience. And so she told Barbara that, and Barbara don't seem like she from the same background. Barbara seemed a little bougie. And, you know, ain't nothing wrong with bougie, but be bougie, but have empathy, care about other people, realize that other people, they have different lives and different stories from you. So just because you were raised and around and grew up in a certain environment, that don't mean everybody else did. And so you can't be sitting up here like talking all this stuff and being high and mighty and righteous, and you not understanding why this person is doing what they're doing. They're not trying to do this to be malicious. They're doing this to survive. And these kids are trying to survive. And so Barbara apologized to the little boy for embarrassing him in front of the deaconess or whoever she was, which rightly so, like. And the little boy was so happy. I loved it. He was just like, no adult has ever apologized to me before. This is lit. And I was like, yeah, yes. I've never had a child, you know, react that way when I've apologized to them. But, you know, I would hope that inside that it felt like, you know, it felt good for them to have an adult recognize a mistake that they made, and, you know, realize that adults are not infallible, and that we also mess up, and we also need to be apologizing for some of the shit that we do when we mess up, because then they can learn that it's okay to make mistakes as a child. So if it's okay for an adult to make mistakes, and that means it's okay for a child to make mistakes, and that means it's okay that nobody's perfect. So when they make mistakes, instead of all the shame that people like to pile up on people when they make mistakes, instead they can just focus on how to learn from the mistake instead of spiraling into the shame. Yes. So anyways, that was that part. And then we had this little cute piece where Jacob and Mr. Johnson find a cat, and it was so cute. It was like a bigger version of my Poosty, man. Yeah, no bitch. And it was like this little cat that was in Mr. Johnson's little area. And they was going back and forth on a name, and then they was like going back and forth with Melissa on who gets to have the cat. And so they decided that Mr. Johnson would get the cat every other weekend because he got leather and suede couches and all sorts of stuff, and he don't want his shit fucked up by the cat. And I was just like, I guess, I mean, like, It depends on the cat. Like, I cut my cat's claws and shit, so even when she be scratching, it ain't that bad. They got them little sticker things they put on the cat's claws so they won't mess shit up. But I just be like, I seen cats bite them shits off. Then I heard they have to glue them on, and I'm not doing all that. She sits just fine when I cut her nails, and it is what it is. So, but I got it. He don't want all the responsibilities of having a pet. He just wants the cute parts. And so he agreed to it. And then come to find out, it was one of them little cats that she brought to school. And Mr. Johnson was just crying and crying. And I was just like, is you lonely, Mr. Johnson? What's wrong? But I think he just really got attached to that cat. That was the cutest thing I ever seen. And it was so sad that they didn't get to keep the cat. But, kids be doing random shit like bringing animals to school. So the little girl brought the cat to school and lost the cat at school and was passing around the missing cat papers at school. And then Jacob saw her passing the papers around, so they had to give the cat back because that was her cat. That was her baby, and it was so sad. And I just wish Mr. Johnson could have a cat, but he got leather couches and suede couches and stuff, and so maybe a dog. It seemed like he just needed something, because like I was just like, well, Jacob got Zach and they together. Like, is Mr. Johnson, does he have, and we still ain't really got no background on him. Like, he just said, you don't know what I have who I have at home and blah 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 blah. I was like, well, who do you have at home, Mr. Johnson? Like, you got family and you got a partner or something. Hey, we don't know nothing about this nigga, and I'm just like, why he the only character we don't know? Like, we know that Jacob has insecure attachment, but Jacob just be saying all the things that's going on with him. So it's not Jacob is just, I don't know, Jacob. He got insecure attachments and thought that one of the teachers from last semester had a crush on him, and he was just like, oh, what was he talking? He was talking to Gregory, because apparently Gregory likes Janine, and Jacob got it out, kind of sort of got it out of him. I was just like, well, when he asked the question, why you look at him like that? But then I was like, this nigga autistic, he ain't think to stop and try to pretend to act normal. And so I was just like, come on, Gregory. And Gregory is low key. So let's get to Janine. So Janine is talking to Maurice. We're shortening his name to Mo. And I'm just like, I mean, he probably is a very nice person, but he showed up at the school while they was doing the fundraiser. I think he told her he was coming or whatever, but he made, also when he got there, he made it sound like it was a pop-up at the same time. So I'm not sure. And the little child was selling child. He was mean to the child. I was just like, why is he being mean to the child? And then Gregory is warning her that he can be intense. And I'm just like, see, that's why. And she just like, at the end, he was telling her about some trauma he experienced on the first date. He's telling her about some trauma, and now tying it back to what Gregory was saying about how he can be intense. I'm just like, because that's a pink flag. You do not tell people about your severe traumas on the first, second, third, fourth, maybe by the third month. You may want to, if you know them and you feel comfortable enough, because those are deep, vulnerable things, and you're telling them to a stranger. And, sometimes it could be a legit, like, I wanted to, I'm just telling you about my life. Sometimes it could be a trauma dump because you're so lonely and finally somebody is here and you just needed somebody to be around and maybe they'll stay. So I'm just going to tell you my life and stuff, and that's not okay. Sometimes it could be a way of building a sob story to get another person hooked in. Like, see, this horrible, terrible, horrible thing happened to me in my childhood and I'm just such a broken, lost, love me. It's a manipulation tactic sometimes. So it just depends. And so, but rarely is it, I'm just telling my story and we're just having a conversation and this is just where the conversation went. Sometimes that can happen, but most of the time it's not that. Look at this shit. This is breaking and I need a new mic. Most of the time it's not that. And so that's why I say it's a pink flag. It's a caution. Be cautious that this person is telling you their deepest, darkest secrets, and you're basically a stranger, because, you know, where is the boundaries there is what I'm saying. There's no boundaries there. And so that dictates that, you know, in the future, there may be more other issues with boundaries. I'm trying to fix it while I'm talking. Multitasking. And so if there's this could be a potential sign. It's not 100%, but I ain't like this nigga from jump. And you know, it's not that he's a bad person. It's not even that he could be toxic. It's just like he's not. He just seemed like not the smartest. I mean, and it's great to, you know, everybody deserves love, but you know, he just seems not the smartest, and that's okay. Like, nothing's wrong with that, and she might like that, but I just want more for her. Okay, I don't care. I want more for her. I want the nigga that remembers her favorite movie just because she had a passing conversation with him and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, she deserves more than that. She deserves more. Okay, I want to see what this nigga meant about this nigga's intents too. What does that mean? Cause you already telling me your sob story on the first date, like we go together or some shit. And Janine, she's just nice and passive and sweet, and she just thinks that this is normal. And she's a people pleaser and a fixer, so of course she's trying to swoop in, and it's probably gonna try to fix this nigga. And it's like, I be telling people and clients and shit like that. Sometimes when you come out of toxic relationships, you just kind of slowly titrate up each person you come in contact with. Sometimes you can come out of a toxic relationship and find the right person, but usually those people that come out of toxic relationships and find the right person, they usually take time to heal first, and then they have discernment and patience, and then eventually they find the right person. But those people that come out of a toxic relationship and just jump into another one, they usually end up with someone that is similar, but maybe not as bad as the person before. And so the person before was like physically abusive, emotionally abusive, and all those things, just to the nth power, the extreme. The next person might just be a cheater and a liar. You know, because if you don't allow yourself to heal properly, you're still going to fall for the same okie doke, because it's normal to you to struggle for love, because that's what your trauma has taught you. And I've been there, and most black women, get this is ridiculous. Most black women have probably been there. And, you know, it becomes exhausting, and that's how you start to build up that feeling that all men ain't shit and for heterosexual ones. I don't know about the gay people and stuff, because sometimes I hear promising stories about that, and then sometimes I hear like bitches ain't shit either and gay niggas ain't shit either, and I just be like, okay, everybody just ain't. But for what I know about these cis heterosexual men, it's trial and error. Some people give up and they just hop into the next thing, and they just be like, well, I could deal with this. I could do it, until it turns into some bullshit and they get too tired and they hop back out. Some people just take a break and then they find the right one because they've healed. Some people, you know, they just stay by themselves forever. They just like, fuck it. These niggas ain't shit. I can't find one that is. And so I'm tired of waiting. So I'm done. And I'm just like, for those people that give up, it's kind of like, that's probably most likely when it's never going to happen, because at that point, people will probably still be trying to talk to those types of people, but they're turning the people down. And so, you know, you are turning down the potentiality that one of them people could be somebody, but you turning them down, you're not looking for nobody. So most likely it's not going to happen if you give up completely. versus people that just have discernment and just wait for the run to come along, but they're still putting themselves out there and they're still looking, and they may take breaks when they get overwhelmed and stuff like that. So yeah, sometimes you just end up titrating up from your most toxic relationship to like a least toxic, then a least toxic, then a least toxic, until you just step on that rung, and it's the right person, and it's magical. That's why I just say take time to heal. So that way you don't waste time and energy, because those are years wasted with toxic people that have issues and problems that you cannot fix or solve. They have to want to work on that themselves and go to therapy. So I think that's what this Maurice person is to Janine. He is the next rung up from her toxic mooching ass ex. So let's see what he brings, because Gregory says he's extra and intense and Well, he's already started off with a fucking sob story on the first date. You don't know this person. Why do we need to know about the people in your life that have died and left you alone? Why can't we talk about shit that we like to do for fun and like dance and eat and joke and be happy? And I'm not, because there are outliers. There are those people that end up talking and then they be talking for hours on the first date and that shit just be coming up. I've heard that. I've experienced that. But that shit is rare. Trust me, it's rare. When niggas is telling you sob stories on the first date, doesn't mean end the date. It don't mean be an asshole about their sob story. It just means observe. I like to step back emotionally and I will just observe a person. Oh wow, that's horrible. I'm not telling you shit about my traumas. Not at all. You're a stranger. I could never see you again after this night. I am okay. But I'll listen and observe and be like, okay, that's interesting. Yes. And if you ask me directly, like, oh, I've told you about my stuff, and is there anything? And I'll be like, well, I don't usually go that deep on a first date because I don't really know you like that yet. But, let's get to know each other more. And maybe eventually I will be able to open up to you a little bit more too. But thank you. I feel so honored that you trusted me, a stranger. With that information, I wouldn't add that part because that's me. But that's what I would be thinking in my head. Like, thank you. So honored. You trusted me, a stranger, with your life story. Magical. And then just see where it goes from there. But I'm not saying you have to end the date. I'm just saying be observant. Don't just be like, oh, really? That's so sad. Oh my gosh. How can I help you? How can I cater to you? He'll be fine. They'll be fine. They obviously had a reason for telling you the story. Maybe they really did look into your eyes and felt at home and felt like they could say they was molested at 5. I wish the fuck I would go on a date and somebody started talking and saying some shit like that. I would just be like, oh, this is horrible. Like, why are you telling me this? What is the reason behind you saying these things to me? Do you want to go to therapy? Like, here's some websites where you can find you one. Like, please stop. It would be so uncomfortable for me. Like, because I deal with that shit at work every day. Like, why would I want to deal with that on a first date? Why? Who? I'm here to have fun, get to know somebody surface level and see where it goes. See if we click, see if we bond. And then maybe go on a second date and get to know them more, a little bit deeper, and then just slowly titrate into my dad was shot in front of me and some shit. Like, I like to be titrated down into that. I don't want that to be just like, oh, we've had 3 drinks at this first date. Now you're telling me about how the blood on the ground looked around your dad's head and it haloed. And I'm just like, wow. Looking at the door like, You need to get the fuck up. Oh my gosh. No, because I've had those experiences and I was so lost in the sauce and people pleasing. And I just thought that that was just like, oh, this poor wounded animal. I must heal him. And now, as a healed, more healed person, because we grow and change throughout our whole life. So you're never going to get to a healed place where you're just 100%, because nothing's perfect and life keeps hitting you with bullshit all the time. But as a more healed person, that shit is cringy. Don't do that shit. It's not cute. Nobody wants to sit on a first date with a stranger and hear about their traumas. This is not therapy. This is a date. We're supposed to be having fun. Okay? Janine is sitting up there munching on her ribs. She's trying to have fun. I thought it was cute that he thought it was cute that she was munching on her ribs like that. But Gregory would have thought it was cute too. No, he wouldn't have. He would have probably been grossed out, but he would have been accepting because she's Janine. Or he would be trying to clean her face up. I don't know. If that's the only thing that he doesn't accept though, like, but he's caring and loving to her, like, I don't care. Cause no, Maurice was just, I don't like him. But you already know Janine belongs to Gregory and Gregory belongs to Janine and Gregory likes Janine. I don't know why he's with some woman that he can't afford. You dating these bitches that you can't afford, Gregory, and then it's making you feel bad because these women know you can't afford them, and they don't like it. You know, you need some low maintenance chick. Like that little kid's mom looked like she liked to get her nails done every 2 weeks. She liked to get her hair done every 2 weeks. She liked the nice makeup. She liked to go out and eat. She dresses a certain way to let you know that like she likes shit. It ain't nothing wrong with that because I like shit too. And I'm not going to be dating somebody that can't afford me. I don't care. Because I like fancy shit, comfortable shit. I like to relax in nice places. And I'm not going to date someone that can't afford me because I'm not going to be complaining and looking at them and feeling the type of, no, like that's toxic. You have to date within your means because you're going to get your feelings hurt if you don't, and then you're going to get resentful of the person for expecting more when in reality, neither y'all niggas should have been dating because y'all are dating outside of your means. And so I don't know why he's dating these women. Like you gonna date Barbara's daughter? Like Barbara's daughter probably I think she set her job. It's like probably 6 figures or some shit that she makes, and you don't. So Barbara's bougie, and even though her and her daughter get into it, I believe that parents impart some of their personalities into their children. At the very least, Barbara may have imparted, you know, her daughter liking nice things. And so I was not surprised when they broke up because he was broke and couldn't give the nice things. You know, you just got to date within your means. You got to date people that are on your level. Some people are okay with always just doing chill shit. Going to the movies, hanging out at the house, you know, having a date at Sizzler or whatever, and just doing chill shit all the time. And then some people are cool with doing chill shit some of the time, and then other parts of the time, like I can be chill for like 3 months and not be doing nothing too extravagant, reading, sitting at the beach, sitting at home, watching TV, home. But then I get that itch to look cute. And put some makeup on and dress up and be like, hey, bad bitch in the house. And go out to a fancy restaurant in Beverly Hills and be stunting on these hoes. Okay? I could be chill for 6 months and be in this country, not traveling, not doing anything. But after about 6 months, I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here. These white people are doing things. And so I need to just go visit somewhere where it's not white people. Like, I'm not excited about Europe. I'm excited about the brown countries. And every time I be talking to people about traveling, they be telling me about Europe, and I just like kind of zone out. Like, oh yeah, you know, Germany, right? Amsterdam, Switzerland, magic home. I mean, like, I want to go to a country of color Like, have y'all been there? Like, what is that like? What is your experience? Because every other European countries, it's always going to be that person that talks about how different the racism is. It's like, it's not that they're not racist, it's just different. And I'm just like, but it's still racist. It's you're still it's not as intense as America, but it's still, I don't want to. I mean, I'll go. Like, I'm not saying I'm not going to go to other European countries and stuff like that. I'm just saying I'm not like as excited to go to other European countries as I am to go to like Bali or Ghana or, you know, something like that. So the only reason that I don't tend to go to those countries is because I still need to research like being by yourself in those, because of the way colonialism has desaturated the earth of all of its goodness and all the countries of color of all of its greatnesses. And it's just like, you got to research these places first, because white people done came through and mowed down everything and shit. I'm not saying that it ain't fun to be there and they ain't got good shit, but it's like, as a woman, as a black woman by myself, I just need to research a little bit more before I go. But yeah, I mean, like, you can't be dating out of your means. Like people that make more money tend to want more things. Like, they want like a house, a car, they want kids, they want to try, they like plan stuff, they like invest their money in things, and you know, they plan outside of what you would do if you were in survival mode because you didn't make enough money. And I've been in both places where I was poor and in survival mode and I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I know what that feels like. And then being in a place where I'm more comfortable and I can actually invest my money and plan trips and plan my future and feel more comforted in being able to do that. And, you know, I know that I wouldn't date somebody like myself when I was in those financial situations, because I know how much I struggled to just survive. And I know that if a rich nigga came along, I probably would have weighed him down a little bit. And I know that about myself, because I want to marry like either, you know, on my level or above. But I really had to come to terms with the fact that if I want to marry, I need my level to be a little bit higher. I need to be doing some shit with my career and my life, because I don't feel comfortable just taking advantage of the fact that a nigga has money. Like, and I don't feel comfortable just sitting around doing nothing just because a nigga has money, because I get bored easily. So I still want to like grow my shit and my business. I know that when I was in that situation, I would have weighed a rich nigga down, because my mental health wasn't together, my money wasn't together, my life wasn't together. I would have weighed a nigga down who had money. And even if they didn't have money, I would have just been a weight. So now that I'm in a more healed place, I can see that and recognize it, because it wouldn't have made for a good relationship. I would have been the toxic one. I would have been the messy one. I would have been the one trying to like get this nigga to fix me and shit. And I would have been overly depressed, whiny, babyish, begging for shit. Just upset this nigga wasn't giving me money. You know, like the 20-something-year-olds that are like the city girls and shit. Nigga, like, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with that if you have your head on straight and you know exactly what you want. But I would have been in those situations wanting love. Well, you know, and taking bushels of money at the same time. No, you're supposed to love me and I'm going to get this money, and not just wanting the money, because city girls just want the money. I would have wanted love, and I would not have been getting love because I was like grabbing with both hands and shit. Like, it would have been okay. And so I just wouldn't have felt comfortable. The thought of having someone then, like right now thinking about it just makes me feel uncomfortable, because I would have been a weight, and I don't like being a weight. And so, yeah, like, you got to date in your means. Like, if you just out here city girling it up and the goal is to get money, just keep your head on straight. These niggas gonna try to come and get you and do stupid shit and say stupid shit. You know how to finesse. Do what you need to do. Cause no, if these niggas want to be out here paying bitches to fuck and shit, then do the thing. Like, you know, buying purses. You bought the purse for the bitch, so why you complain? You shouldn't have bought the purse. Cause I'm sure there's tons of women around you that you don't want that will give you everything you want. Everything, all of themselves, and you barely would have to do anything because there's too many niggas in these jail cells where the black women in particular calling themselves being in a relationship with a nigga that is doing life in prison. Shut up, girl. Never gonna get out. Some of these prisons don't even do conjugal visits. So you know these rich niggas got some bitches on the side that want to be in a relationship with them. And they don't want them. They want the city girl bitches. And I'm just like, okay, well, do you take the consequences that comes with getting with the city girl? Like these passport bros. Like these niggas that's going to these foreign countries, to Brazil and Thailand and shit just to fuck bitches. Like these bitches is dumb and they don't know what's going on. You gonna get finessed. You may get some diseases. And you gonna end up getting robbed blind. That's what's gonna happen. They want marriage too, and they have dowries over in them countries. So that means you got to come correct on with some money to the family before you can marry their children. Okay, you know what? I'm tired. So they get what they deserve is what I'm saying. So I'm not going against, like, you want to city girl it up, make your money. I'm just saying, like, but if you want love and shit like that, like, you can't get that, you know, if you trying to date people that ain't in your means and shit, because you're gonna be taking care of somebody, and as long as you're okay with taking care of somebody, because you don't always got to end up with the person that's siphoning it. Sometimes people are just housewives, and they bring in the work that they do at home, and they take care of the baby, take care of the house, they make sure the bills get paid, they do all the things. So they do have a job, they take care of the house. And so sometimes, you know, that's the ideal that these white people, these white men, you know, the patriarchy keeps blabbing on about the happy housewife and shit. But then, you know, there are those that want love, and they want their cake and eat it too. But their mental health is off, their finances are off, and you can't you can't expect that everyone's going to pay for you and give you love at the same time. So, you know, that's the thing. Whether you with a man, whether you with a woman, whether you with non-binary, whoever you with, you can't expect that people are going to pay your way and your homeboy way and your homegirl way and then want to give you love at the same time. That's what I'm saying. So Gregory can't keep getting in these relationships with these women and he ain't got no fucking money, but these women have decent careers. Not saying being a teacher isn't decent. It's just, you know, the government doesn't want to pay them right. And so they have careers that pay them substantially more money. There you go. And they're used to a certain lifestyle because they have careers that pay them substantially more money. But then you're getting with them knowing that they have these careers and knowing that they have these lifestyles, and then looking a type of way and feeling a type of way when they're complaining about the fact that you don't have the same thing. Now, no, they shouldn't have got with him, but he's a teacher. So in some states, teachers make six figures. And in some states, they don't. So you never 100% know which state you in until you actually talk to the teachers. And so they probably going out with him like, oh, he's a teacher, you know, that's an upstanding career and da da da. And you know, come to find out, no, them things that you see on the TikToks about teachers not getting paid and them strikes that they be having, like, that's for real, girl. And so now they feeling a type of way. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes people's careers can surprise you. I don't know what to say. So Gregory needs to stop dating out of his means because he's gonna keep getting his feelings hurt. Okay, it is what it is, Gregory. Like, you can't be dating a six-figure bitch if you make what 40,000 a year and shit and can barely pay rent. Like, it's not. It isn't gonna. Cause I made 40,000 a year at one point and could barely pay. Like, it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. And so he gonna keep getting his feelings hurt until he ends up with Janine, because they both make the same amount. They both chill people. Janine don't need too much. I wish she would end up with somebody that gave her a lot, but I think she needs more heart than she does like money and dinners. And I think she needs someone that will genuinely care about her. Then she needs like money and dinners and shit on top of that. So yeah, she just, I think they will work out. She needs to go to therapy first. Like I said, Gregory just making stupid ass mistakes because women are pretty. He's like, oh, they're pretty, and I want to, so I'm gonna, and it was gonna, and it's like, no, Gregory. And you get your feelings hurt because they just not where you, no, y'all not, no. So we'll see what happens with Maurice. I don't like him for her. I think he's like a slight step up from her ex, but he's still gonna come with the issues and the problems. Cause why are you telling me about your shit on the first day? I don't know you, sir. So we'll see what happens with Maurice, Mo, whatever. You want to give him nicknames and shit, whatever, girl. But yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoy this review. Like, share, subscribe, so we can all have the monies and squirrel our lives away from this white supremacist society and protect ourselves and feel safe in this world, because we have monies to buy things to make us feel safe in this world. Just God. Ooh. I did it wrong. Okay. Later days.